Alright, hey, wonderful good morning everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today we are playing the funnest of decks, Grixis control of course, with the funnest of cards, and typically we want to have collective brutality, some sort of life gain, and also a Plague Engineer or Liliana the Last Hope. Today I'm just playing my favorite cards here in the sideboard and also two Grixis in the main board to have a little bit of fun. So this is not the best list. This is just a very fun list. And some of you might have already seen me during the week playing against Krim on Demian Ver. Krim being Asian Avenger on MTG Goldfish, who got beat up. I'm also probably gonna add a couple of replays to the end of this video, because there were a couple of interesting games or matches that I played this week without recording them, and I just wanted to showcase a couple of them. So I probably am doing that, no promises so. Also, we're now mid-February, which is 5 to 6 weeks away from GP Turin, where I will also be participating and go to with a couple of friends. So the preparation for that will be starting soon, and then I hopefully play a little bit more in paper as well. I'm already looking at a couple of local tournaments here. Alright, what's going on here? Why is all of this so weird? Yes, we want to keep this. So it could be starting with the Torpid, but I think I'm going to go with the Polluted Delta here. Just in case we have to save a little bit of life in one form or way or fashion, but it doesn't seem like it. For opponents playing an irrigated farmland. Alright, so we're playing against some sort of band control, which does give us problems in two ways. On the one hand, they are playing Uro now, which is extremely annoying. But he does have an awkward hand. Yeah, very annoying for us. And then they're also playing Elspeth. You almost missed a land drop here. I basically saved him through my stops. So if we're not drawing a Nimble Obstructionist here this turn, I probably am gonna bounce my Creeping Torpid if he goes and tries to Field of Ruin here. Because he does have a little bit of an awkward mana situation there in his hand. And we do have enough lands to make up for it. Plus, I can play the Torpid and then go with the Inquisition next turn. Unless there is an Astrolabe. Alright. So I could also go with the Jace here. But I think I'm gonna clear the coast first with the Snapcaster Mage. Of course, the Astrolabe does help him quite a bit in this situation. Otherwise, would have been even better. Okay. So this appears to be that he doesn't even have anything that we could be taken here. Yep. Alright. Still an okay exchange. And we're playing the Torpid and pass back the turn. We already have Snap Cryptic up here next turn. Plus we can also put the Cryptic back on top. Nimble isn't bad overall. Alright, no additional lands here for our opponent. Let's go with Jace, then he's probably gonna try to Cryptic here. We're gonna counter the Cryptic, then he might be going for a Supreme Verdict, which will take his turn there. And even if he does come around with something weird here, like a Planeswalker, the Fairy or whatever, we should still be able to get rid of it through the Torpid and the Bolt. So up until now, we outplayed him at every point in the game, got a little bit of card advantage, but the problem is that they are just playing the more powerful spells. And as I said, like, we do have tremendous problems of getting rid of something like an Uro. Haven't seen a Stoneforge Mystic yet, which I also expect our opponent to be playing. Astrolabe, sure. Astrolabe trigger is also something that one could consider just countering with the Nimble. Yeah, you could be saying, well, there's nothing in the graveyard yet that really concerns me, so I'll let the Jace live. Because going with the spell here definitely is somewhat awkward, but it goes. Oh, with the Teferi. Alright, so yeah, one. Sure. Don't really need another something here. So just draws a card. Probably doesn't have a third one of those. I want to save as much life as possible. Not life, cards. Alright. Yeah. Tap drawing here. Wants to play a Supreme Verdict, of course. My goodness. Alright. This one's coming in. So the overall problem here is that I don't really want to be going in with the Torpid here because they do have too much life gain. So we're trying to acquire more card advantage through a potential nimble against that Flooded Strand, for instance, or whatever else could be happening here. Glittering Wish. Is that something that I can't let through? Don't actually have a clue what my opponent's up to, right? So now this could also be an Uro or something, so I'm definitely going to counter this. The question is in which way. Still know 2 cards out of the 3 cards in his hand. So I think I'm going to try to get the Snapcaster Mage down here to test if he does have a Spell Snare. Alright, so it's important to him. He's protecting it here with everything that he has. And now that I played it this way, I could potentially also just counter the Flooded Strand. But this gives me a little bit of additional card advantage, of course. So counter draw. Another land. Another Glittering Wish. Alright, so Glittering Wish here, I don't know what's going on exactly, but something's really fishy here. So we are going for the head here, and I expect this to be potentially a Mystic Sanctuary, getting another Glittering Wish here or something. And we're drawing so many lands, it's insane. Alright, just normal land, which gives us at least a little bit of time here. Since apparently our opponent does not want to go all in on that Supreme Verdict on a single Snapcaster Mage yet. And now we basically have a 2-turn clock. I'm gonna still fetch here, just in case. Alright, and a Croxa, which is actually pretty good. Because now we do have lethal. I'm gonna counter this. So now he can't use a fetch land anymore, otherwise he's dead. Has to go for the verdict here. Alright. So game 1 we won. And I think we definitely want to have Ashioks. Brazen Boros might not be super great here. Also haven't seen a lot of great targets for the Terminator, although he could be playing Ura, of course. But we want to keep that Ura down differently, I think. So what kind of graveyard hate outside of Ashiok could he bring in that would harm us here? So he hasn't seen Croxa in the first leg, but I think I'm going to take out Croxa just in case he's bringing in graveyard hate. Bring in Jix the Jailer, because it can't really hurt us, and then Grim Lavamancer. Potentially also Flusterstorm though. It's a little weird. It's been a while since we've seen Glittering Wish being played in any control deck. So it's not really foreseeable what our opponent does have in his sideboard to bring in here. Yep, we can keep that. Do have a couple of lands and stuff to do. And I also like having an early bolt here, just in case we have to snipe off a Stoneforge Mystic, although as I said, like we haven't seen a Stoneforge. That's also why I cut one Colorgun's command. Because I want to play around Veil of Summer a little bit. Just want to have a little bit more options. This is certainly gonna be a Wild Fang Wall, Ice Fang Wall. Therefore, I'm not shocking here. I wanted to have the Steam Bands. Yep. So I'm gonna bolt the Ice Fang Wall in his turn if I need to, and then go with an opt. So we did everything correctly here. Could also go with a second defense, but I don't think that's necessary. I didn't attack with the Ice Fang Wall. I do like that. So I'm gonna play the Swamp here so that we do have Drown Loch up, although without another fetch land, we won't be able to counter anything here anyway. But we can kill the Ice Fang Wall, of course, as well. And then we have enough cards in the bin to activate the Drown Loch. Counter. So again, the correct choice there to go with the untapped lands instead of the Tar Pit, although that would have been the better long-term play. So I'm playing the Jigsaw Jailer out here because, as I said, I think it's very probable that he's playing some sort of graveyard interaction. And he's also missing a 4th land drop, so I'm not too afraid of a Jace coming down here. Never mind. So I want to put this to the top. But we could always be running into a Supreme Verdict. And before we don't know what's up in his hand, I don't think I want to do this. Nice Fang Wall. Alright. So he's thinking about Force of lol. This is super awkward. And there was the Supreme Verdict, so that was correct. I think the whole interaction here was very correct from our side of things. He's gonna block here, and that's in theory a 2-for-1, but I'm still fine with the exchange. Since the Force of Negation was straight up good for us. And he doesn't even have a follow-up, so I don't know. Overall, doesn't seem to be a particularly good play here. I'm shocking here because I actually want to have access to a couple more lands in my library. He's thinking about the Field of Ruin here. Doesn't go for it. Alright. So the problem is that I would like to use the yeah, this looks big time. Like a Veil of Summer. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, yeah. So I'm gonna put the Logic Knot to the top because Strong Lock is still better. In my bin. So I'm playing around a mana leak here as well. The only card that, and the Mystical Dispute, the only card that really fucks us here is a Veil of Summer. Which he apparently doesn't have. And now the Ashiok should actually be quite good. Alright, that was a Mystic Sanctuary as well. So he does play those. Can't search libraries anymore. And I'm just holding back here the land that we just drew. And we've drawn so many lands. Alright, Field of Ruin. Not my biggest concern right now. He's playing more than 3 Teferis. That's pretty insane. Alright, does play Glittering Wish. For which we still don't know what he's actually trying to pick up. So we've almost won all the interactions here. Like every time he wanted to resolve something, we were able to prevent it, and we resolved our own Ashiok. Yet still, he does have 2 more cards in hand after this Glittering Wish. and we only have a land, so I hope that we're gonna draw something good off the top. Also because these Field of Ruins are at some point gonna be actually taking away our lands, although it's also gonna be a little bit problematic for him, of course. Alright, so he's having a big think here about what he wants to take. Not an easy decision. Because everything with escape plus, I mean, even a Stoneforge Mystic doesn't do anything here. If he did have a Jace, the Mind Sculptor in the sideboard, that would probably be great in this spot. Well, JTH Rock. So I hope and I expect that at least one of the cards in his hand is a removal spell that also is being indicated by him pitching the Supreme Verdict to the Force of Negation, so that he did have duplicates there. Especially when fighting against our Jigsaw Jailers, so that even like we still had a fetchland open, so we could have had another counterspell. So that even if he lost the fight, that he did have another option to get rid of the jailer. And I think one of the cards in his hand is either a Mana Leak and or a Mystical Dispute. My goodness, opponent. What is going on here? Hello. Opponent's already in the tank for over 2 minutes. So I'm very sorry about the waiting time here. And also, this is a matchup again where we typically would like to have Liliana the Last Hope, especially, even more so than a Plague Engineer. And that's why I like having 1 or 2 in the sideboard. Or even in the main deck if you don't want to go with Croxa. Because Liliana the Last Hope is just really good without Oko being in the meta. Approaching 3 minutes in the tank here. And our opponent doesn't only have to win this game, he also has to win a potential third game. And with my opponent being in the tank for almost 4 minutes, I'm certainly not gonna let him win if we make it to a game 3. And he's about to time out. He also hasn't disconnected, he's still there. Just weighing his options. That's super weird, right? He's playing so many Teferis and Glittering Wish, which usually tells me that he's playing some sort of combo. But I really don't know, like, because Teferi protects the combo, and we still haven't seen a Stonewatch Mystic. But playing Glittering Wish just to have access to your sideboard cards, I mean, sometimes it's beneficial, but it's a sorcery for 2 mana, and your deck's already pretty slow and pretty weak to aggressive decks. So I don't know. So close to 5 minutes. And I would stop the clock here, but I think it's just too late already. I need this editing bot that just cuts out automatically some of these time spans. I don't even know if our opponent's still there. Maybe you realize that he can't win against Nashiok or whatever. I do not know. But I'm pretty sure that he's not gonna make it in game 3. Welcome to round number 2 here. I'm actually feeling fresh, like I slept well. Hands okay. Let's skip. I'm gonna shock here. Alright, something black based. Potentially Jaunt because nobody's playing anything else but Jaunt. I'm gonna go with the second Scalding Torrent here just in case I need to double bull the Ren in 6. Yeah, it is Jaunt indeed. Despite the fact that I of course also want to have triple blue, I'm gonna go with the double red approach here. Because since I bottomed the Terminate to find more land here, I probably need to double bullet at some point. Okay. So our opponent playing Kroxa is of course annoying to a certain degree. But it is not yet problematic. I think I'm going to get rid of the opt. It's a little bit counterintuitive since we still are looking for lands here. But we also need to get rid of that Kroxa. So post board, definitely bringing in the Ashioks. Okay, Nimble is alright. Cryptic Command's important for that Kroxa. Lol. So I could of course counter the trigger here. And I think I'm going to do that. And the other option would be to Colligan's command back the Snapcaster Mage, but I can probably also do that in a different point in time. Enters the battlefield, discards a card. Yeah, that I want to prevent. This one. Otherwise, we really have a problem if I just leave the Crusader on the battlefield. Alright, Terminate is also not too bad. Tormugoyf. Alright. Triple Bolt. So we can take 3 of the Tormugoyf here, I think. And he does have the mana for Croxa. So I'm going to counter the Croxa, I think. If he doesn't utilize it here. Scoos. Do I care about the Scoos? So let's see, we have 12 points of damage, theoretically, in hand. And we have triple red, therefore I definitely want to get the Snapcaster Mage back. And can't cast Croxa this turn. We also do have a Terminate. So let's say he plays Croxa next turn for 4 mana. I bolt him. He could have something else, of course. I think I'm gonna counter draw here. Because we're really not far off of just straight up being able to kill him. I also do have a couple of cards that I can discard to the Croxa. Probably a K command. It returns Croxa to hand. Sure. Confidant. Alright, that actually helps us a little. So let's return Snapcaster Mage and deal 2 damage to him. Then we're gonna bolt him. There's another K command, so we have lethal in hand right now. Just need him to take a little bit of damage off of that. Alright. Still need a turn here. Since we're 1 mana short. And with Liliana in hand, he should not be able to kill us here. On 7. Ah, this looks to be a Croxa. And this is exactly what I meant, right? Although Croxa Enchant is also alright, but it is definitely very, very slow in the sense that they need to have something on the battlefield. And now I'm making the... I'm completing the punishment here with discarding a Terminate and then just bolting him to death. Whoop. Alright. So, Kalita's pretty good here against the Croxa. Ashiok coming in. Definitely want to have failed pushes. I think 2 Ashioks should be enough. And then I want to take out the Thought Seizes, especially with the... Ah, no, I can't. Can't take out the Thought Seizes. Taking out the Jaces instead. I can't take out the Thought Seizes because of Ren 6. I really need to stop that. Especially without Brazen Bar right here. Kalitas is great, of course, against Croxa because if it's not coming into play at the early stages, then the first spell of it will always be a token for us and an exile. So interesting that our opponent both times here keeps a hand without a turn 1 discard spell. And this is super weird. Like, super weird. Just bolting me. Very, very aggressive. Also don't know if I like this play. I have to do it, put it to the bottom. Alright, so we do have enough to get rid of the Goyf. Yeah. Whoops. So if he doesn't take the Inquisition, which he shouldn't because afterwards we already have access to it with the Snapcaster Mage again, then I'm probably just gonna Inquisition him, play Steam Vents tapped. Yeah. Alright, a little bit burn here. So this one tapped. Then he's almost out of things to do. Could burn us, of course, here. Then we can get back the Mystic Sanctuary next turn. Just in case, or as a versatile answer. Okay. Yeah, getting black. Now, of course, the Mystic Sanctuary doesn't do anything, but I don't really care about that, since we do have a couple of good options here in hand. And can just go about our business here. With the Snapcaster Mage, finding an opt. And that's an Ashiok. Ashiok's pretty good. So our opponent's already also at just 12. So I'm mainly preventing, we hit a Scavenging Ooze, which is pretty alright. But this is mainly to... Okay. Yes, well that actually hurts. Since we do not have a second one. Yeah, therefore this doesn't hurt as much. I think if we draw another Black Source, then, well, this is also not bad. We know the last card in his hand is indeed a Lightning Bolt, therefore I'm not even gonna bother. That's kind of lucky. So we still have a lot of access to So this time around, I actually want to bait him into doing something here with the Lightning Bolt to go after our Ashiok. No way. Huntmaster. 1, 2. So a Black Source and or... Yeah, that's actually pretty good. Because now we can go after the Raging Ravine here. And he's going down to 1. Therefore he needs to bold our Snapcaster Mage here. And for us, a bold, a Kolaghan's Command, the Snapcaster Mage, anything basically is lethal. And the Raging Ravine also isn't gonna save him. Oh, so well played. Knew our hand, knew we couldn't do anything against it, but alright. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go ahead here with the Blood Crypt. which is double black, because he can't activate the Raging Ravine, and also spells do something with the spell. And I got rid of a Liliana here. That would have been the card that I would have been most afraid about. Alright. Oh my goodness. Oh my fucking goodness. The best combination of cards here that he could have had. Like whatsoever. Ah, come on. This is just ridiculous. This actually is ridiculous. Alright. Torpid. Now we can't tick up. No, then he loses. Because that's just 7. So you're still dead. But that was a ridiculous turn. Well, now we do have multiple options, but... Alright, that is it for round number 2, and let's go to round number 3. Welcome back here to round number 3. As we fight the king here, apparently. We're gonna keep this. We're on the play, therefore the Inquisition is hopefully still good, although we can't play it on turn 1. Yep, a turn 1 Inquisition would have been better. So I do not really mind the the Chalice. So I'm gonna go after the Matter Reshaper here. Bring that one in tapped. Hope that he doesn't draw another Eldrazi Temple. Yeah, he's thinking about playing the Chalice. Alright, apparently he chooses to do so. Oh no. And this is interesting because our opponent apparently at this point already knew that we were playing Nimbles. I have to go with the Nimble here to counter the Thought-Knot trigger and draw an additional card. And then we can take the other Thought-Knot potentially with the Thoughtseize, since he's still a little bit off of the correct mana for the Ugin. And if we want to, we can also... So since we can at some point counter the Ugin, I think I'm just gonna go with a snap, Thoughtseize the Eldrazi Endbringer. This will of course open us up to a Thought-Knot hit here. Alright, Chalice on 2 apparently. So one more land. We are not gonna block. So feel like getting a hit in here is beneficial. So we could bounce the Thornotsia here. That would have the same effect of us going counter draw. So I think I'm gonna go ahead here and whew, this is quite interesting. So Snapcaster Mage attacks. I'm gonna pass the turn. He's probably gonna go with the Thornotsia again. Unless he drew something even better. Alright. That resolves. So we are gonna go return and destroy. Then I'm gonna counter the trigger again. Then I'm gonna play the Jace here. Not attack. Huh. So he still doesn't have the mana for the Ugin there. Do I need the Jace? Don't think so. Alright, Matter Reshaper is fine. Actually, Scalding Torrent might not be too bad, due to the fact that we can fetch it for a Mystic Sanctuary. I'm gonna put it to the bottom first here. Alright, Lodging Knot. Doesn't help us a whole lot right now. None of this is super great. And there's the tower. Oh my goodness. Huh. So the Ugin still doesn't get through if we don't want to. Yeah, I think I have to just let this resolve. Alright, so he's gonna take the logic knot. And then the Ugin is of course annoying but not super bad for us. Yeah, I think I'm gonna let that resolve as well. Can of course destroy permanent of ours. The warping whale really was good at that point. Not a logic knot. Okay. Yeah, that didn't work out. Okay, so Croxa is gonna stay. Wanna have Kalitas. Probably gonna get rid of one of these. And also one of these. Alright, let's keep that. So our opponent's mulliganing to 6 here. Darksteel Citadel. What the actual fuck? What the fuck? Well, we can bounce the Hangerbug Walker, so that's not too much of an issue in the foreseeable future. Super weird. Alright, just gonna bounce the Hangerback here, make the game a little bit slower for him. If he's just playing the Hangerback again, I'm just gonna go with the Brazen Bora. Don't really care about on the Meta Reshaper either. I have to be a little bit careful with our mana and life points. Opponent, of course, drawing the Karen of Souls here over the top. What a pro. Huh. Let's see. We could hit a Croxa. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. If we hit a Croxa here, then next turn we could potentially play it. Which means this needs to be a Blood Crypt. So we draw a fetch land off the top and or... Ah, come on. Yeah, this is unreal, man. This is so unreal. Fuck my life. So unreal. Alright, fetch land. So I guess it's gonna be a Watergrave tapped, which will enable us to play this. Okay. Which is now the biggest thing on the battlefield. Plus, if he's going to discard the Urza, a Karn. Should not have nothing in his deck that can get around a Croxa. And every time we attack, okay, Walking Ballista. Sure. Yep. So Walking Ballista can of course pump itself, but I think I can go Croxa here, just attack in, get him to drop something else into the graveyard, kill the Thought-Knot Seer with a Drowned Loch. Draw an additional card. Reality Smasher. Oh my goodness. That is not good. So it doesn't have the mana for Reality Smasher yet. I think I'm gonna go just have a look here. Not perfect, but still paid off. Oh, come on! This is so insane. Insane, man. So this is practically lethal. If we let him get another turn. Which, yeah, we will have to. A lightning bolt would have been enough, because we deal 12 damage on the battlefield. Yeah, opponent just got really, really lucky here. In all instances. Alright, let's try to bluff. Alright, welcome back to round number 4 here. After a very frustrating round there against Eldrazi. So against a creature combo deck here, we have an insanely slow hand. And this could also be humans, I guess. Yeah, it seems to be humans. So it will take us a little bit of time to get into this game. Hopefully our opponent doesn't draw additional land sources, so that at least on that axis we can fight him. Interesting choice. I mean, he can't play it just yet, but come on! Just don't get a single. My goodness. So on the plus side, our Nimble Obstructionist will do work next turn. And of course the Lightning Bolt is also not bad. So I'm thinking of putting in the Lightning Bolt first on that Mantis Rider. Because next turn we can then go and K-command the Thalia. Plus I get to find a Water Grave, which will allow me to cast Kroxa as soon as we find a Cascade Bluffs. It's also possible that killing the normal Hierarch is just the superior play. We're going to 9 after this turn, so we can take 3 damage for 1 or 2 more turns. And the K commands also kill these two. Plus, we will have a Cryptic command at some point. Return? No, I don't want to return it. Target player discards. Yep. Champion of the Parish? Why didn't you play that last turn? That is a little bit awkward. That's an interesting pick here. If he names the Kroxa, he knows about one more Colorgan's command, so potentially he also just goes for that one. Yeah, doesn't know about the second one, of course. But that's certainly the right pick here. So down to 6. And that doesn't really help us right now. Yes, it's just insane. Our opponent's always just drawing what they need in that such situation. So we're taking 5 here. Anyway. I don't think there's an out for us. I have to block the Mantis Rider. Take 5. And even if we could cast the Croxa next turn, we are still dead. Because our opponent just drew perfectly here. Well, I guess. Oh yeah, by the way, so I was on Reddit and there was someone asking if there was a feasible Grixis deck around. And obviously, the good person that I am, I did refer to one of the videos plus deck list so that he could have his own impression if that is fitting his playstyle and if that's also the type of deck he wants to play. Difficult decision here. So this has to be a Black Crypt. Well, anyhow, someone was suggesting that I only post 5-0s and superior leagues, which obviously isn't the case. I just post whatever I record. Just as this league, since I don't know how that's going to end up just yet. So drawing a lot here, I would love to play it. But we have to kill something first, or play the Croxa. Both wasn't possible. Nope. So I'm pretty transparent with the results that I get, plus the matchups. I'm not having a spreadsheet or something like that, but that's just due to the fact that I think that's Cabal. Sure. I think I'm just gonna play this Snapcaster here. Alright. Creeping Tar Pit isn't too bad. I could be attacking with the Snap, but I would assume that he wouldn't block. Another Hierarch, sure. And that is probably a Thaddeus Lieutenant, right? Yep. So that's not a big deal yet. Alright, he does attack. Thankfully. As a 5/6. So I'm gonna shoot a Noble Hierarch. I need to get something in the graveyard there on his side of the table. If I draw a Kalitas, not what I meant. So, do we want to go after the Noble Hierarch or do we want to go after the Thalia's Lieutenant? How likely is it that he does have a double spell there? Not very likely, and therefore the Grim Lavamancer should still be good. Next turn, to kill the Thalia's Lieutenant, of course, we also still at that point do have the Drone Loch. Oh, Phantasmal Image is not too bad as well. Well, currently he doesn't have blue mana, so I do understand why he would get rid of that. Another one, sure. That makes things somewhat more difficult. So I think I take 7 here. Which of course isn't great. But then I can go Kambal, kill the Kambal, block something, kill the Thalia's Lieutenant as well. And then hopefully I get like a Kalitas down. Man, it really hasn't come together here at all. Interesting. Right, so we're going after a Kambal. Go down to 6. And then we're gonna block here. And take the other one with us. That of course really makes our Snapcaster Mage worse, but we can't play around everything here. Bugler is at least annoying. Really need a land here. I think... Oh, come on. Yeah, that's not gonna work. We're dead on board. I would have to block with a Snapcaster Mage. There's no way we're coming back from here. My god. Alright, welcome to round number 5. Maybe I shouldn't have been swimming in between. Didn't seem to help at all. And we're playing against humans again. Maybe we can take Retribution this time. So let's see. I could bounce the champion next turn, but I think the Thoughtseize is also still gonna be good. We must have a very aggressive hand here. Yep, I'm gonna get rid of the champion of the parish first. If he does have double champion or champion hierarch or something, then I really want to prevent that 4 damage. Well, that is a little bit awkward. Wonderful good morning everybody and welcome back here to my channel. Today we're doing something slightly different than we typically do. I wanted to make some sort of a highlight league of a couple of matches that I played this week and retrospectively go over the plays that we did there, if there's still room to improve, if there were a couple of good lines. And all of these matches were either really tight or like this one was against the Asian Ninja from MTG Goldfish, and I guess he was trying something new out for a video. Maybe that's still coming up, I don't know. But he was playing Demon Inverter in Modern, a deck that has been dominating Pioneer recently and of course gets a little bit better in Modern due to a couple of additions like fetch lands, etc. Although they are being put into the graveyard and therefore maybe that's even not so great. And it also doesn't have access to dig through time, but still, I just wanted to show you the matchup. He was also playing some spicy cards like Bitter Blossom, etc. So here we go on the first hand here. He's kicking things off, and since he was playing a Scalding Tarn, this already I don't understand why he's fetching in his main step. But yeah, in the beginning I just thought that we might be playing the mirror here just because of the Scalding Torn, but of course, as in Pioneer, it's just a blue-black list. Since we don't have any counters right now, it's not awesome, the position we're in, but we do have a lot of value, and there's a Snapcaster Mage in the bin already. So I'm getting the Snapcaster Mage back. I don't know if he's playing counter magic. I assume that there is at least a couple of Drawn Loch in his deck. And now, of course, it gets problematic because he's still at that point 17 life and plays the Bitter Blossom. And that's one of the best cards that you can have in a control mirror. So I have to start pressuring him here. Thankfully, we have two bolts in hand, which makes it a little bit easier. So coming in with the Snapcaster, I know that he has at least one more Thassa in hand. And if I can chip in a couple of yeah, here I'm just being aggressive because of the Liliana tick up. Go after the Rogue, I think, to get an additional hit in with Snapcaster Mage and make him discard. Yeah, and he discarded Cryptic Command, a card that is very crucial, and I didn't fetch here end of turn just because I wanted to have access to a potential Mystic Sanctuary, because now I can put back either Kolaghan's Command or Lightning Bolt back on top. I choose Kolaghan's Command because it isn't a big difference here. If he does have some sort of life gain, then K Command is just the better card. And otherwise, it does make a big difference because my Snapcaster Mage can always get back the Lightning Bolt here as well. So that's that for round number one, game number one. Alright, so this is the second leg of the first match. And opponent is... yeah, this is of course a good land for Demon Inverter, not a fetch land, and just a good fast land here. We're bringing our own Spite with Croxa. Oh, I can still... that's actually pretty cool. Can still move things around here. Yeah, next turn, or Turn 4, once we assembled 4 mana, we can already replay the Croxa, which is actually pretty good. No plays here from our opponent. But he does have the tar pit, and we're already down to 14. And now he uses the time to play a Jace, I think. Right. And Jace, of course, is a little bit problematic, so I'm trying to find a potential out here. Brought in Plague Engineer from the sideboard to deal with the fairies, because that is actually really problematic. Had a little bit of a problem with the Cascade Bluffs. But, yeah, get the Croxa into the play. And since he didn't see it in game 1, I assume that he took out at least a couple of his removal spells that he was playing before. And although the Jace, of course, provides value, it does not do anything against the Croxa. Here it's a little bit awkward. I think I'm going after the Liliana here. Yeah, because of course it does prevent us from hitting for the full 9 here. And it also can get back Kalditas plus a potential Fatal Push or something from hand would be very problematic. But here he's starting to go into the offensive. But racing a Croxa is of course very, very difficult. Yeah, also killed the Jace there, because next turn we have lethal anyway with the Plague Engineer. I name it Elemental here, and I also put a Colligan's command back on top, so anyway he plays it, he should be dead next turn, unless he finds a removal spell for the Croxa. So still 1 mana short to activate the oh, I put a... oh no, he of course Field of Ruin. Alright, so I just wanted to show this, as it was a rather interesting game, although we haven't seen the combo here in its full iteration. There's the Thassa's Oracle and there's Jace. But yeah, never got to show both at the same time on the battlefield. And yeah, I think gameplay wise, there wasn't a whole lot that I could have done better here. Chose the right points to go on to the aggressive side in both games, and that was fine overall. Alright, now we're back here to round number 2 basically. Had to mulligan because the first hand was just horrible, the second hand's also not a whole lot better. We're playing against Jund with 2 Seasoned Pyromancers in hand, which is already really bad for us. Just value wise, and since we don't have any graveyard hate. So I'm going after the Seasoned Pyromancer because I can't have him have multiple things at the same time. And ticks up with the Liliana instead of ticking down and going after our Snapcaster Mage, which is a little bit different. Then decides to leave back the Tarmogoyf to protect the Liliana and goes after our Snapcaster Mage with the Assassin's Trophy to then tick up Liliana for value, but we draw another Snapcaster Mage, which of course is very good here. And I can just wait here a little bit. The Seasoned Pyromancers are a problem, of course, but I can't play the Croxa yet because I don't have any way to get additional cards into the graveyard without him playing anything. And here I can, of course, block with the Snapcaster Mage just to get it into the graveyard to then cast the Croxa, but I still have a little bit of time here. So I just play the Snapcaster Mage, end of turn, bolt him, and also start to race. Since I know that I'm gonna run into the other elementals here anyway, and get the Snapcaster Mage off the battlefield and into my bin this way. Then I'm just waiting for 1 turn here where I can actually counter something. Yeah, it's not the Assassin's Trophy because that's not relevant for me. It also gives me the option to protect my Croxa. And here is what I want to counter. Now I can play the Croxa, and the Croxa plus a Tar Pit especially is good enough to raise my opponent. I think I'm leaving back the Drowned Loch. And again, another matchup here against a black-based, discard-based deck where Croxa is just really, really good. And I would even say that Croxa, or almost all decks except for maybe Eldrazi and Amulet Titan, are utilizing their graveyard to a certain extent for value right now. And for this very reason, I'm always thinking about which card I could be putting into the main board to prevent my opponents generating the same kind of value that I am. And of course, Cling to Dust has come up. So maybe I'll do a video with that one in the main board. Previously we played Ashiok because it's just very, very good. Here it would have been exceptionally good as well against Jund, and it just has a lot of utility matchups. So, and from here on out, it just gets better. Let's wait for the second one here. Alright, the second game here. So I left Jace in, and this is the sideboard. So I took out the Nimbles, I took out the Brazen Borers, brought in Fatal Pushes, but here, a second turn, Renin 6 is almost game over already. That's just something that, without Graveyard Hate, we almost cannot beat. Due to the fact that he chose to bring in Molten Rains, though, we almost get back into the game here. So he doesn't have anything else to do. Does have a Bloodbraid though, and Bloodbraid by itself wouldn't be a problem, but Bloodbraid into Ashiok is a real big deal. And so, in order to maintain the Croxa in my graveyard, I actually choose to fight the Ashiok, then play the Croxa on the following turn, for which he of course needs to have a solution, but this enables him to go with the Renin 6, and apparently he had a lot of lands in hand, and therefore can double bolt my Croxa here. If that weren't the case, and he also has another Renin 6, so at this point we're just, in terms of value, we're so far behind that it doesn't make a whole lot of sense and just concede. Off to round number 3, match game leg number 3 of round number 2. We do have a pretty land heavy hand, but it is alright, since I'm planning on getting Thoughtseize here anyway. Or Inquisitioned. Takes the Bull, which is pretty interesting, and of course indicates that he has some sort of either Renin 6 or potentially a Dog Confident, but then goes with another Inquisition, takes my Snapcaster Mage, and goes with the Thoughtseize and takes the Ashiok, which is of course really, really sad to have, like, my opponent to have 3 discard spells in a row. Here I choose to not go with Croxa, although I could have played it next turn, because I actually expect him to have an Ashiok, which he did. This was more of like the way he played it than anything else, and therefore I was pretty happy with my decision here. So, of course, sad for the Croxa. I also lost a couple of good cards into my graveyard, sideboard, into my graveyard. My goodness. But yeah. So trying to get a little bit of value here out of the Snapcaster through an opt, and then he also has a Renin 6. And at this point, like, yeah. a Raging Ravine on the board, 2 Planeswalkers, Tarmogoyf, Seasoned Pyromancies, and 2 cards in hand. At this point, it just gets so ridiculous. So I switch gears here and try to go for the head. So I take the time here to actually attack him with both my creatures, get rid of the Seasoned Pyromancer. Then he finds his Collective Brutality, which from a boarding perspective is already bad, but then gets him back life and takes my Lightning Bolt. So he goes after my Snapcaster Mage, and here's the really deciding turn. So he plays the Liliana here, although he knows I have a Snapcaster Mage. I discard the Thoughtseize, then he goes with an Ashiok. I play the Snapcaster Mage, and the Tarmogoyf just isn't lethal here. I'm still at 6 life. I'm putting him down to 3, and he knows I have the Croxa in hand. So he kills my Renin 6, and at this point I already know that I win. Alright, just play the Croxa and he's dead. So, just to roll it back up here a little bit. There were a lot of decision points here that both could have cost me the game and for him to win him the game. Me, of course, me not playing the Croxa first when he had the Ashiok there was just crucial. At that point in time, I could have lost the entirety of this game and with no hopes of coming back. But there I made a good, correct decision. And from there on out here, his last turn, he could have won. He had he just activated the Raging Ravine here and attacked with Ravine and the Tarmogoyf. And beforehand, of course, went with the Ashiok, because he could have activated the Ashiok that would have forced me to play the Snapcaster Mage, targeting Bolt, but I wouldn't have been able to do anything with the Bolt if he didn't activate the Raging Ravine up until that point. Then I would have bolted something. He could have ran 6'd my Snapcaster Mage and then attacked for lethal, but he was greedy, made a Liliana move here that didn't make any sense gameplay wise, because he felt so much ahead and then got punished for it. So his last turn here was just a sequencing error, and we were able to capitalize on that by just sticking to our odds, and then Croxa just being lethal because he doesn't have any cards in hand. Or through it, Ren 6 would have just had a land in hand, which would have also been fine. So just wanted to showcase this one because it was a very intense game, and most of the games against Jund will come down to such decisions. They just have, and it really hurts me to say this, but Jund has the higher card quality overall. Renin 6, of course, tipped this over the top. If they also play cards like Seasoned Pyromancer, etc., it's insane. But this card's just not okay as from a design standpoint for Eternal formats. As soon as there's fetch lands, this is just ridiculous. Otherwise, otherwise it's okay, right? If they're just shock lands or whatever, then yeah, get back a land for 2 mana, that's fine. But with fetch lands, it's just insane. Alright, so this is for round number 2, and let's head on to the next game that I wanted to show you. Alright, welcome back here to round number 3, and we're playing against Koki 12, on what I believe to be Blue-White Stoneblade, I think. Which is of course also a very interesting matchup. A couple of the Blue-White decks that are running around right now are not only playing the Stoneforge Mystic, but also playing Elspeth, Sun's Nemesis, which is basically inevitability for blue-white decks that they didn't have before. And 6 mana isn't the problem. 4 cards being exiled from the graveyard is also very much okay. And it just helps against a wide variety of decks. It gives you threats, it gives you life, and it's repeatable. You don't care about discard, you don't care about counter magic, you don't care about anything. So I went for it here, trying to get rid of the better skull. Of course, knowingly running into a potential force of negation. Now this is, I think, yeah, Teferi, of course. So the worst two cards that I could potentially see here. Why am I not going with the other Kolaghan's command? I actually wanted to protect that one in case he has another force of negation backup. But here I am actually baiting him into playing the better skull because he thinks we can't do anything. Then use the Brazen Bora to get rid of, or not get rid of it, but to counter the activated ability of Stoneforge. But he had a Path to Exile as a backup. Now we do have a Bolt, so I can actually kill the Teferi, and he's gonna play the better skull, and now I can actually kill both with the Kolaghan's command. And he's trying to find another force of negation here, but doesn't find it. It looked really grim in between, but we pulled ourselves back out and came out on top, not only in terms of value, but also in terms of raw resources, land resources. Now I can also go for a Mystic Sanctuary if I want to. So I'm really confident that one Mystic Sanctuary is the right amount. I don't want to have two unless I'm playing Archmage's Charm, which I'm currently am not, due to Croxa being in the deck. Here I believe we're getting Cryptic, but I do have a Drowning Loch as well. And at this point it becomes really difficult for our opponent. So yeah, this is also what I would do again, watching this. So using the time here to get rid of his Jays from hand. And now of course we don't really have a good solution for the Colonnade should that come up. But he doesn't have the 5th land yet. There it is. And now he probably starts attacking with the Colonnade. So counter the Colonnade activation here. Have double Cryptic up plus a Mystic Sanctuary. So it's going to be really difficult for him to get out of this. Yeah. He has double spell, we have double spell. Ours are very much superior. I don't even bother bouncing the Mystic Sanctuary, although I could, of course. But yeah, so there was a focal point here in between, like turns, I think 3 to, or starting on 2 and then 3 to 6 were really crucial, and I had to protect what I actually wanted to do and spread it over a couple of turns in order to finally get there, in order to circumvent additional forces of negation and other play patterns that could have otherwise happened. Alright, this is the second leg of that game. We do have a decent hand. We have a little bit of early removal for a Stoneforge Mystic, and then we do have Kolaghan's command for any artifacts that are coming around. So I'm pretty happy with the hand. Also, you will notice during this recording, I actually do this as a proof of concept. No, I just wanted to get back to OBS so that the annoying sound from my laptop in the background sometimes it's just too loud and it's annoying me myself when I'm rewatching my videos. So I didn't want to, although nobody complained about it, but I didn't want to do that to you anymore. And so yeah, here we are, and I hope that everything's fine now as well. More enjoyable to watch. So it's a little bit of back and forth here. There's a Jace that takes up to 5, of course, to get around a lightning bolt. We double bolt it, which is net negative for us, but on the other hand, we're also on the draw here this game, so it's fine. Castle Avondale is a little bit of a problem for us as well. And Flusterstorm, while being good, we don't have the 5th land yet to really utilize Flusterstorm Cryptic Command together. So I'm waiting for him, yeah. I'm actually baiting to use my Flusterstorm here. And there's a Dismember, which I counter with a Flusterstorm. Because it actually puts him down significantly in life, so I want to maintain my Nimble on the battlefield. So we're hitting him for 5, which is pretty good. Do have a Cryptic Command still up, just in case something unforeseen happens. Doesn't do anything about the Colnagon's command, and is down to 2 life. If I would have gotten my burn spell off the top, then he would already be dead. This way, though, we still have to play around that Celestial Colonnade for a bit. There's another Lightning Bolt, which should definitely be the coffin, the nail in the coffin. And that's that for this round.